Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Wrestling Underground podcast. I'm your host, as always, Chad Bordeaux, and joining me is my glorious co-host, Marcus Green. Marcus, how are you?
Yes, sir. Back again, doing okay. It'll be a light show, but a thorough one.
So, we have some. It's mostly conversational pieces this week. No big news, no nothing of that regard. So I think that's a good thing. So let's start into it. Cody, WWE confirmed, probably. This news is broken and not broken and rebroken and reverse broken so many times that I don't know what's true until I see them at this point. Marcus, are you at all excited about Cody Rhodes to WWE?
Just to see what it entails for his character now. I mean, look, I go all the way back watching this dude back in WWE when he was getting bitch slapped by Hardcore Holly on a weekly basis in front of Dusty. You know,
Talk
so
about a throwback.
yeah, man, this is before Legacy, before all the broken face stuff, before all that stuff. So to see, what he's evolved into, and then also went on to different companies in AEW and whatnot. It's just gonna be interesting to see like what he brings, because literally the last thing he left off on in the company was goddamn Stardust, I think.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing the story they take it. Obviously, this is, like you said, the most broken, unbroken news going right now. A lot of people trying to figure out why in the hell he would go back. It's able to just come down to business. A lot of people, they didn't think would come back to WWE, and they have. So this is just what it is. I don't think AEW needs him anymore. Uh, so it's gonna be interesting to see what he comes back looking like. Is it gonna be blonde or is it gonna be black? And
Don't you mean
yeah,
bleached or blacked?
yeah, yeah. And if he's gonna have the old ball and chain with him, which I hope he doesn't.
I mean,
Um,
I love looking at her and I love watching her leave because she's both beautiful front and back, and now she's no longer in my presence. So like, it's a twofer. It's a twofer. I think for one, Cody has really harmed a lot of his own image, and like the thing is, too many wrestling fans don't have what I like to kind of look at as accurate radar for these things. Like a lot of guys are like, oh no, he hasn't fallen off. He's still just no. And I think with Cody, he's definitely fallen off. Like the last year, fans have turned on him, and it's one thing to be a heel and have people like boo you. It's another thing to be a face and have people not even want to look at you. And I think
yeah,
Cody, like, if you're playing your wrestling video game from 2007, like you build up your overall or your popularity to a 99 in AEW, and now he's sitting at a 78. It's like, yeah, you got Cody, but you didn't hurt AEW in doing it. And people can say, well, he was a founder. Well, he was a founder. Well, he was a founder. EVP. Impact is, I don't want to say thriving right now. I refuse. Like I look at that roster going, where did all the good talent go? They still have Speedball. I'm happy about that. Stuff Swan, happy about that. But I look at Cody and it's like, all right, yeah, Impact lost Jeff Jarrett and AJ Styles and Sting in the same 9-week space. And they're still around 20 years later. Well, not 20 years later, but 20 years total.
yeah,
Like, I'm supposed to be impressed that you got Cody, Mr. No One Likes Him. That's like
yeah.
saying, oh, we got Deshaun Watson. You mean the guy no one really wanted because he's a giant creepo? Ugh, I don't know. That's not a bragging moment right there, my friend.
Yeah, he's definitely fallen off. Like even when he was trying to play he didn't play. He was failing as a hero, and he refused to turn into the villain that people clearly. I'm like the audience was calling for him to be because like, dude, we don't like you. Like even when you're trying to come off good, you come off like a douche, and so does your wife. Like she made Dan Lambert look favorable.
And I love that he even said that. Like, I'm a middle-aged white conservative, and you're making me the hero. Dan Lambert, you gem.
This is not good. Y'all need to go back to the drawing board or just go back home. But yeah, I mean, he definitely fell off. Like I said, it got to the point where AEW just didn't need him anymore. They're getting a lot of names, and it just didn't fit. He still got a certain mindset about stuff, and they kind of moving on beyond that. So, got other ideas, but yeah, it also don't help, like you said, his cred or his image that he made it a point during his time there to crap on WWE, specifically Triple H with the sledgehammer and the throne and every other shot he took, and then so now a lot of people like, oh, like you was pissing on his grave 2 months ago. Now you're crawling back to daddy. Like it's so it's
You know what really did it in for me? That fucking neck tattoo. Like, what are you doing? Stop it! I feel like Michael Jordan, that what was that addiction commercial from like 1989. Stop it, Cody! Stop it! You have bad tattoos. There's a great Dropkick Murphy song called "Rose Tattoo," and every time I think of Cody's terrible tattoos, I start thinking of new lyrics to that song. With a terrible neck tattoo. Cody, stop it. What are you doing? I guarantee he shows up with more tats. Ugh.
God, please don't do a sleeve. You don't look. No, stop.
Just do the whole neck. Just do the whole neck and chest now. Go Austin Vanderford. Go Paige Van Zant's husband. Just do the neck for some reason.
No, screw it. What was his name? Go full on Gallagher.
Tattoo Dusty's face on your face.
Oh.
Oh, that would be creepy. Oh, that'd be creepy. The American Night Dream. Working on those night moves. I think I broke Marcus. No.
That's just not
no.
good. No.
No. God, what was that from? It was
it a bridge?
What was that?
Was it a 4-star?
Well, that was definitely one of them. Because he's like, no. But I remember it was a live action thing, and I want to say it was Dave Chappelle, but not like in like a comedy sketch. And they're trying to get him to do something, and he's like, no. Oh, I think it was what was that Bruce Willis movie with the guy from 30 Rock?
It's not Die Hard.
No, this was more recent. 2010. I think it was called Cop Out. Yeah, that's what it was. Tracy Morgan. So Tracy Morgan is Bruce Willis's partner, and Sean William Scott's like this petty crook, and they're trying to get him to do something, and Tracy Morgan's just like, no. And it's not a funny movie at all. And that's not a funny scene. But for some reason, I was like, yeah, this is fine. So, yeah, that's where that was from. It's on Tubi for free if you want to watch it. Like, the only funny thing is like Sean William Scott's character. Like, that's it. But then again, that shouldn't be surprising because he's hilarious. I actually want to see that new Sean William Scott show on Fox where he's a preacher in a small Indiana town or something like that. Have you seen that commercial?
No.
So it's kind of shot in the same vein as like The Office or Parks and Rec, where it's like a documentary kind of show, but it's like all fictional. And Sean William Scott plays a pastor who comes to the town to be their new be the new priest or whatever. And he and his wife move there together, but he leaves her when they arrive. Now she's stuck there. And it's really dumb, and it looks interesting because I'm like a big Sean William Scott fan. Like, he's genuinely a really good actor, and I love all of his quirky roles that he does. So, like, definitely check it out if you get the chance.
But that premise sounds like it would have been a offshoot episode, or it could have been the premise for the first season of Preacher.
Pretty much. Man, I want to find a woman that does things for me like that organist did for Fuji.
Yes.
What was his name? What was her name? I forget. I haven't. I stopped watching that show after a while.
Yeah, we fell off at the same time, I think, because it was
Yeah.
just
Once you try to do a redemption arc for Hitler, I feel like
that's what. No, I think that's what got us. You let this bastard live, and you thought it was a good idea to bring him above ground, and, and the bastard hauled ass. He broke free. Hitler is what he did. Okay.
well,
And
I do like the whole I like the final chase scene of like what was it, season 2 or season 3, like when Assmouth or whatever his face got back up with Hitler, and they're like all chummy buddy, and then Hitler just takes off running.
yes,
Sprints away. I'm like, that is so absurd. It's hilarious.
yeah, and I think that was probably one of the last things we reviewed.
Like you drag Hitler from hell, and he takes off running on you. Like what? How terrible must you be as a person to not even be able to have a friendship with Hitler?
That's the only show I feel like that tried to buck that whole concept because every show that has time travel goes well, if you had a chance to go back in time and kill baby Hitler, would you? Like it's a kid. No, but it's kid Hitler.
Well, yeah, didn't Deadpool do that in the sequel? He
Yeah, I
goes back
think
in time, but he can't do it, so he's like, I'm going to send Cable to do it. I haven't seen that movie all the way through yet either.
something to that effect. I don't like that. But it's cool. Everything else that's not that fat kid is okay in that movie.
Yeah. He's the reason
It's
I didn't want to watch it past a certain point. I was like, ugh, he's obnoxious.
God, I hated that kid in that movie. But yeah, the guy that plays Cable is funny. Also, Ryan Reynolds. Don't like the fact that they killed. But that's at the top of the freaking movie. Obviously, they went and undid it because obviously it's Marvel, even though it's Fox, it's still Marvel. But
Wait, who did they kill at the start of the movie?
um, the girlfriend.
Yeah, from
Well,
Gotham.
yeah, from
Yeah, okay.
Gotham.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know.
that's dumb. Speaking of dumb, let's talk about Chris Jericho. So Chris Jericho is 50. And it's fair to
No,
say he's been kicked in the head one too many times. One too many shots from the snake. He's somehow still over. But I have a theory. I believe he's still over because people like singing his song. It's part of the Chris Jericho experience, which should have been the name of his band, not Fozzy. Because now I'm just thinking of Waka Waka. People love singing Jericho's theme song. Judas by Fozzy. Fozzy Bear. And Jericho apparently is thinking about retiring the song. That would be all sorts of bad ideas. Talking on Busted Open Radio with Dave LaGreca and Tommy Dreamer, Jericho talked about it, saying, well, I mean, it's something that I've always thought about, but it's also something that you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. We have something very special in AEW that happened very organically. And I think it kind of transcends heel or babyface. I think it's one of those very special moments that's synonymous with AEW that nobody else has in wrestling. Nowhere is a song that everybody sings the moment that we come out. That moment that I come out, and the difference is even if they did sing other people's songs, this is my song. It's my song. So, Marcus, do you think Jericho should retire it?
I mean, obviously it's his prerogative, but if it's me, I don't. And for all the reasons that he said, like it's happened organically. They sung him out to that song when he
Against,
didn't even have it planned.
yeah, against MJF.
Yeah, against MJF. It's like you don't get that kind of stuff in wrestling. Um, Specifically to that level. You get people that like theme music to sing along and stuff. Like they sing along to the Jurassic Express song or whatever. But like
Kazi Ne Nair.
yeah, and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't retire. He said it supersends Heal a Babyface. But like I said, he might be thinking maybe he could get another song like that over. I personally wouldn't take that gamble. Or maybe he, as the guy that was behind the song, was just bored of it. Because how long did he have that song before he made it his theme? Maybe he's tired of it.
2016,
Yeah.
I want to
So,
say.
you know.
Well, there are one-hit wonder bands that love their one hit, and they get into it.
Yeah.
Then there are other bands who despise that song. Like Radiohead has not played "Creep" in concert in years. But then you have like other guys like I forget his name, but he's saying that I'll be your crying shoulder. Like he loves that song. He's like, yeah, it made me rich. Fuck yeah, I'll sing that song every day, every hour of every day. It's like, all right, cool.
Well, same thing with Genuine and Pony, man. He's still doing with that damn song.
Well, it's the only song that anyone knows Genuine for. Although I'm pretty sure Genuine was the fictional cousin of one of the characters in Parks and Rec, so like he got a boost from that too. Genuine. Yeah, I wouldn't retire the song. If Minoru Suzuki can find 34,000 different renditions of Kazi ni Nair, Jericho can come up with a second version of Judas to keep it fresh. But even then, don't even do it. Like Shawn Michaels' theme was iconic for how many years? Edge's. Now Edge has a new thing, and it's terrible. Like, don't do it. Like some guys can do it, like Undertaker, The Rock. Yeah, all right. But when Stone Cold comes out for all of his post-retirement appearances, he's not coming out to disturb Stone Cold theme. He's coming out to classic Stone Cold. Jim
Johnston, all-time legend.
Yep. But then you have Rock, and he's come out to like 48 different versions of the same song in a year. Like some songs need the hook. Like every one of the Rock's themes start with "Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?" And like the very first one, it was like that fast. Like, "Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?" But now it's like, "Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?" It's like there's always variations when you have that hook. But when you have the song itself, like Shawn Michaels' theme is fucking iconic. So you can't change it. But then others like Sting, that dude's bounced around from theme to theme to theme to theme to theme in his career. The only one that he's really had he had that TNA theme for a while. But I don't think that was that good. And I love Sting, so like that says something. But like the man called Sting, iconic. Just iconic. Mwah. So like Jericho needs to realize that his song is a song, not a hook. So keep the song and just kind of accept the fact that this is who you are now.
Yes. But he's more than that, Chad. He's a leader
Of a terrible, shitty group called Jericho's Jeritrolls. Oh, that would have been great. That would have been great. And they just harass people online.
Jericho's what?
Jeritrolls. Jeritroll. Jeri trolls. And they're just like 5 internet trolls just harassing people with Chris Jericho leading the way. I mean, that's what they look like. They look like a bunch of trolls.
I mean, ironically enough, that definitely would be the gimmick in WWE. But I mean, all those dudes and Swagger just comes off like a staring troll. So it's like, yeah.
So what's the group name? Do you remember?
It's dumb. Because it's let's see.
Googling.
Yeah, it's the Jericho Appreciation.
So dumb.
Well, thank you, Russell Tall. It's the Jericho Appreciation Society.
It's jazz. No, thank you, sir. All right, speaking of no thank you, let's talk Control Your Narrative. EC3, Braun Strowman, Austin Healy Aries. Who's the other one? Killer Cross, who's now in New Japan. That makes me sad. These cats are like, yeah, we're going to create a promotion, and you're going to have total say over it. and none of that flippy shit. And I'm just sitting here going, Jesus Christ, you've alienated all your fans. You destroyed your image. The fuck is wrong with you? Marcus, honest to God, like, I mean, we trash on Cody, but, like, I have never seen a dude intentionally curb his own career as hard as EC3. Like, period. I don't think there's any saving this dude. Like, he's so lost in the sauce, it's not even funny. And, like, he's the best way to describe it is he's like a comedy rapper who got famous for telling jokes and whatnot, trying to make serious orchestral music. It's like, that's not why we liked you. Like, what are you doing? It's like Coke trying to taste like Pepsi. It's like Star Wars making The Last Jedi. These aren't the reasons we like you. Stop doing these things. And I think that's something that people need to realize. Like, when you're a brand, when you're a style of athlete, like pro wrestlers are, like, you got to realize what brought you to this, to the shop. That's why the whole Rey Mysterio taking off his mask in '99 thing never worked out, because we liked the mask. We thought it was cool. It was one of the most unique looking masks we've ever seen. But it was also simple. And then they took it away, and it made no sense. It's like Kurt Angle just... All right, that's a bad example. Kurt Angle did everything. And did everything so well. It's like Batista wrestling hardcore matches, or AJ Styles growing his hair out like a soccer mom. Oh, wait, that did happen. I'm going to say this, and it's the absolute truth. AJ Styles has the worst hair in wrestling. His mom hair just kind of moves as one, almost like it's just a bunch of plugs. And his facial hair is just so weird looking. Like, it's not a good beard. Like, I know Veer Krahan, whatever his name is like 46 weeks away. And that dude's beard is majestic. It's a little bit unkempt, sure, but, like, you compare the two, it's like, whose beard would you rather have, Marcus? AJ Styles' puberty beard, or Veer Mahan's epic length beard?
Yeah, and I'm basically kind of looking like Oscar Isaac and Dune right now, but
yeah,
gotta go.
Wish you looked that good.
For Veer, you will not jump on my self-esteem.
Let's see. I haven't seen. Is Dune any good?
Yeah, it's long, it's plotting, but it's if you're into that sort of thing.
Marcus, if you have a beard like Oscar Isaac's in Dune, I have so much respect for you right now. That's a majestic looking beard. That is fantastic.
Yeah, he looked good. Yeah.
So I'm not at all excited about this fucking control your narrative thing. It makes no sense, Marcus.
Yeah, it screams they didn't want us, and I think I feel like that's what broke him. Like, he really thought he was gonna be able to go back there and prove himself. Because I think was he part of NXT when they were still doing competitions, wasn't he?
Yes, he was Derek Bateman.
Derek Bateman, man. So I feel like he had a lot to prove in his mind when he first went back there, and it just did not work out. And then he just kind of was like, F it. And then we seen him come back and it felt like he almost derailed Moose with that whole thing. And, I'm like, the fact that the fact that Aries is there at all is already put most people off on it.
There was a time when that dude had so much in company clout. Like, that dude could do no wrong. He was so talented, so liked, but the mass COVID stuff, the Christy Hemme stuff, the general attitude issues, the stuff he pulled at, what was it, Bound for Glory a couple years ago, it just kind of highlighted how much of a douchebag he is. And it's not even about, like, it's not even about his views. It's about how he goes about presenting them. Like, I can generally accept that people have different points of views depending on how they, speak it. It's all about presentation. I don't need to agree with you. You don't need to agree with me. But if we could go, yeah, all right, that's fair, and we just end it there instead of going into you're dumb. I feel like we'd be all right. But Austin Aries is perpetually going, you're dumb to people. It's like you're sheeple, you're dumb, you're stupid. I'm smarter than you, and it's not even an angle. He's just a flat out fucking narcissist. And then he wonders why no one wants to hire him anymore. It's like, oh, fucking hell. I wonder why. Like, he's doing pre-show matches on the NWA. Like, fuck. Talk about fall from grace.
I remember that grand time when he first came into the company. It was in that multi-man, what was Ultimate X match?
Well, depends on which time you refer to as his first time, because there's been a few first times. He debuted in 2005, and he wrestled with Shelley and Roderick Strong. But then in 2006, he became
I'm talking about
Austin Star. You're talking about when he came back in 2011.
Yeah, came back in 2011, then had that big X Division run up until he had a damn near perfect build. It felt like the Destination X won the title. Everybody was like, yo, he finna lead the way to the next, I guess, quote unquote, boom period, which we thankfully don't hear about anymore. I think, like I said, I think he got wrapped up in the whole Aces of Eights of it all, because that's when they was doing that. And then once he dropped the belt, I don't think he picked it back up. And then, it's a long, grinding road up until he came back to beat Drake, which he really shouldn't have did, but we know how those TNA contracts are.
Wait, didn't he beat Pentagon? No, he beat Drake. You're right.
He beat Drake, and then that ended miserably. Eventually, and it's like, his fall from grace has been sad to watch. But EC3 specifically, I've never gotten any part of this narrative thing he's been doing. It felt like he was trying to do something with it in RH, but ultimately I just couldn't. He ain't been good since he was crapping on Spud. That's just what it is.
Now that's with all the dumbness that EC3 has been involved with. If he popped back up in Impact tomorrow with Rockstar Spud, Dixie Carter, and whomever else,
Trouble. I usually was directed for his opponents. Now it's just talking about his career.
What have you done to yourself, EC3? This is what happens when you pontificate too much. You start to believe your own hype. Speaking of believing your own hype, Jay Lethal is not facing off with Jay Briscoe, because he doesn't need to make any belts, and there are no belts to make this man. He will be facing off with young stud, however, Lee Moriarty at the upcoming Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor Showdown in Texas. Right now, there are 4 matches that I know of, and they all look pretty fantastic. You have John Gresham versus Bandito, which is the unification match, the undisputed Ring of Honor World title. You have the good title that Gresham has, and then you have that terrible-ass title that Bandito has. Gresham is apparently in talks with signing with AEW to some degree, so we'll see if that ends up happening. Although Gresham is still working part-time with Impact, so that's still cool. Alex Zane is taking on, is it Isaiah Swerve Scott now? Or is it just Swerve Scott? Sweethwerve? So you have Sweethwerve taking on Zane. That's pretty dope. Terrible name. Yeah. Sweethwerve. Yikes. The Briscoes taking on FTR. Talk about a match that I don't want to watch. And then, of course, Lee Moriarty versus Jay Lethal. More matches to be announced. Who knows what this card's going to do? And who knows what AEW is going to do with this Ring of Honor brand now? Because are they going to turn it into a developmental brand? I think that'd be dope, but how are you going to put it on TV? Are you going to put it on TV at all? Is it going to be a YouTube show? Like, I'm more worried about the presentation and how they're going to go about doing it than I am about the actual card itself. So, like, they can have, like, any match they want. I'm more worried about, like, how's the presentation going to go? How are you going to tape it? It's going to be live. It's going to be in Philly. It's going to be in Orlando. It's like those are the questions I want answered. So, but Marcus, so far, what do you think of the card?
I did. I like it. Um, Obviously, you got to do the unification match because the whole thing that went down Bandito. Um, that should be fun. Briscoes and FTR, I guess, what a lot of people are waiting for, but I could, like you said, like you, I don't much need it. I don't deny that they put on a good match. I mean, the 4 men are superbly talented, but yeah, not exactly a box office match for me either. Um, but it does sound like a good call, and I can appreciate that AEW at least putting in the effort in that way.
So, I don't know if Bandito's sticking around in AEW Ring of Honor for the foreseeable future because he is taking on Flamita at MLW's Azteca Underground. So he might be, looking long term with MLW or going back down to Mexico and doing more shows down there more often. Because I can't imagine that traveling as he does is exactly, prudent. Travel takes a lot on your body, and when you're wrestling 4 or 5 nights a week, it's not something you want to do a lot of. So I don't know if he's even going to stay in the country long term. He does have some he's got one of the best masks in wrestling. Like, he really does. It's the idea of having that gangster hoodlum thief mask from like the old 1920s, like the bandana over your mouth. So, put your hands in the air. See, like, all right, that's pretty dope. That's a great idea.
Looks like a suave train bandit.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's pretty dope. I mean, Bandito Bandit, like, yeah, but as far as an American prospect goes, if you can't cut good promos in English in the United States, it's really hard to validate the price that you're paying for this dude. This dude is probably making a sweet mint, and he should. He's fantastic. But how are you going to keep justifying that cost when you know that he only has X ceiling in the States? And I don't know if he's going to keep getting the types of paydays he needs to keep sticking around. Like, MLW's paying up, but I don't know if Impact is interested. They don't seem to be. WWE's not interested. Maybe New Japan Strong might be interested, but I think they're kind of doing a shoestring budget at best, with a lot of focus on getting guys over to New Japan proper. Eventually. So I don't know. I don't know what Flamita's not Flamita. Excuse me. I don't know what Bandito's prospects are long term in the U.S. without Ring of Honor. So we'll see what happens there. Marcus, speaking of long-term prospects, Maven is back. Again, back. He's been back a few times. This time, however, he is doing a YouTube show for the, what was it called? The Independent Superstars of Professional Wrestling. They're doing a new weekly TV show called Sunday Night Slam. How original. The series debuted this past Sunday night with Maven and comedian Ryan Mayer as the broadcast team. Maven will next appear on ISPW on March 25th when he accompanies the superstar Danny Morrison to the ring for his ISPW championship match against Justin Carino. Marcus, does Maven, who I think I'm a fan of, I don't know if you're a fan of, but does Maven being a part of this brand make you want to check it out?
Yeah, just to see him again and check out some potential new spot with some new wrestlers. Yeah, it is cool to hear about Maven. Yeah, you always got to keep an open mind. I mean, you always in the show talk saying watch more wrestling. This is an opportunity to do so. So.
It is. I will say this: the setup for the show, because the article I'm on has the video for the episode. It's just a fucking poster on a wall, and they're at a desk. It's not. You can tell there's like $60 in the budget to make this show. And I think 40 of it went to Maven. So it doesn't look great. Like, at all. Like, even a little. Although I'll check it out. I like Maven. I'm willing to give it a shot. Speaking of giving things a shot, Hernandez was given a shot to come back to Impact Wrestling a few years ago. And he did all right as the bodyguard for Johnny Swinger. And I'm in complete unison with people who think that Johnny Swinger and Ziggy Dice should be a tag team. I think that would be a fantastic duo. But one person that fictitious tag team that may one day happen won't be joining with is Hernandez. He's done. He's gone from the company, which kind of continues this trend. We know that what was his name? Larry D just recently left. Falaba recently left. So it does seem like there's some roster turnover. Now, in the past, everyone would be like, the sky's falling, Chicken Little, the sky's falling. Look at all these talents being let go, the sky's falling. Well, we know that's no longer the case. This is a healthy company, even if it's not the same size that it once was. What I will say is this, though. This is a roster turnover situation. We've been seeing the roster turnover a lot the last year and a half. A lot of XWE guys coming in. Your Mid Cardonas, your Brian Myers, your W. Morrisseys, and your Chelsea Greens, and so on and so forth. Are you okay with the talent leaving, Marcus? That's leaving, like your Hernandez, your Falabas, your Larry D's, with the knowledge that you're going to be getting more Steve Macklins and more inspirations.
Yeah, and I don't want to be too high on the inspiration, but yeah. Yeah, because those names ultimately, and I'm a bad guy, but they basically cut him off at the knees when Scarlett left. And if the only way I was gonna get him was getting TJP too, I mean, he could have been left. But sorry about that. It's not worth. Juice ain't worth the squeeze on that one. But yeah, I mean, it's time for them to evolve that roster and get some other talents in there, and those guys kind of serve their time, if you will, but they can go. And honestly, I kind of got out the head of quote unquote stalwarts in that company for eternity when Styles left.
Mm-hmm.
Because of those guys that you really thought was gonna just go there, but even Jared left. Like when the captain don't go down with the ship, we got a little bit more than turbulence around here. So, I think the roster turnover is good as necessary. There's a lot of free agents out there that they need to be looking at. We need more. If they can get a couple more Jonas, who's gonna be mad at that?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think it's good to keep a perspective on, because I don't like a lot of this Impact roster currently. But there's some aspects I really do like Jonah. So I'm optimistic that they can keep finding some gems. And like some of these younger guys, like your VSKs, I don't know if there's a lot there, but at least they're trying something there. Like Speedball, I like Speedball. Like that's a good get. I think the Inspiration are, you can get 6, 7, 8 minute segments out of the Inspiration without breaking a sweat. Even if they're not great matches, that's fine. You can still get something out of them, as a duo. It comes down to, when the time comes to get bigger names, are they going to be able to do so? Because their main event scene is weak. You got Moose, and then who? They don't have a lot of guys ready for that scene. Sammy Callahan's coming back soon. But Eddie, Moose, they've already done their dance. You got Heath, but as much as I like Heath, in that match with Moose was good. Heath isn't a main eventer. Matt Cardona's not a real main eventer. So like you're kind of stuck and look, left looking for some type of massive improvement somewhere. But I just don't see any names that are out there that you can bring and be like, oh yeah, he's the new main eventer. She's the new main eventer. I feel like they almost need to consolidate at this point with another group like Women of Wrestling or MLW and have their talent help infuse their talent, because they don't have a lot of names that make you go, yeah, I want to show up and shell out $50 for a ticket. They got enough names that'll make you want to tune in, but I feel like they don't have enough headliners. Like I think they really need to, go full bore ahead and try to get Samoa Joe. Maybe put the belt on Jonah. Build up a Samoa Joe-Jonah feud. I don't know if it'd be a good set of matches, but at least it might be enough to get people excited. I don't know. Moose isn't exciting people, and I think that might be more to do with the roster he's with. But then again, I flop on that a lot. I flip-flop. Some days I think it's Moose. Some days I think it's the roster. Some days I think it's both. So I don't know. I'm concerned with the direction the main event scene is going, and losing Hernandez isn't going to hurt. He's 49, 50 years old. But at the same token, at the same instance, you know, there were times when you had bigger names on your roster and you let them leave. So, what exactly are you set to do now with the brand, and how are you going to infuse the main event scene with guys that people want to tune in and see, and how are you going to infuse the feud scene so you can build up to bigger shows? Like these are things that they need to do, and they're not doing it because they're kind of just trying to build up W. Morrissey and Matt Cardona, and I don't know. There's not a lot there, and it's really affecting, in my opinion, the optics of the brand. That's just a personal opinion. What do I know? I'm just a plebe, plebers. Mark, is anything else catch your eye on the wrestling side of things?
No, I can't say that it did. Nothing really major.
Anything about WrestleMania coming up that you want to check out?
I mean the Roman and Brock stuff. Just to see the new dynamic. Obviously, it's a match we've seen like 5 times now, but these new character dynamics will make it interesting, and obviously Edge and Styles, because that's what 2 generational talents for the first time ever, and it's rare that we get a first time ever match in WWE, let alone at WrestleMania. So
Yeah, the only problem is it's booked by the WWE. So you know it's going to be rough.
you can automatically book the ending springboard. Spare!
Oh God, they are that. Oh God, Mark ruined it.
What, AJ is the face and Edge is the heel. Maybe we get the face for Verlin at the big show.
Wait, they actually turned AJ face?
Yeah, because Edge, turned on the crowd. That's what the switch of the. Because I thought you knew. That's why they switched the whole theme and all that. Like
Honestly, I just knew they switched the theme, and the only reason I knew they switched
Yeah.
the theme is because people hated it.
beat the piss out of AJ Styles. Came out the next week, told him, and it doesn't seem like he's been back for 2 years, but time flies. When you're stuck with Orton, I guess.
Time flies when you only wrestle 6 matches.
Exactly. So that time he got injured, then he got past Orton, and then fell to Reigns, and then the whole thing with Rollins feels like he's been caught up. Doesn't need the audience anymore. The audience is stupid. Now he's gonna focus and get back to that killer instinct Edge. And that was his first victim.
Is the audience stupid, or is the audience stupid?
Stupid.
Yeah, he's only wrestled 15 matches in 2 years. So, that's something. He did wrestle 10 matches last year, and he's already wrestled 2 matches this year. So for a 48-year-old with a bad neck, that ain't too shabby. Though that being said, I did catch up on Resident Alien finally. And aside from that Girls' Night episode, which was just utter trash, it's been a pretty solid season.
Yeah, man, that moment between the sheriff and the deputy on the bench, bruh. Tell him, he is the MVP of that show. He's behind, obviously,
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk, but that's because Alan Tudyk has so much lifting to do.
Yes.
But I mean, he is. You take the sheriff off that show, and those episodes are so dull.
I gotta agree. It's the wit, but also kind of like he's a little dumb, but he's also super smart. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, super smart, self-aware. He's a lot of things at once, and it's hella entertaining.
His relationship with his father, though, I think is the best part of it. And like that whole idea of like Alan Tudyk's character put the memory in his head of him and his dad fishing because like they never fished.
Yeah, we daddy's boys, so it's like it's. Oh, that was a beautiful thing. And
it really was.
It's weird, but it's a harmless invasion of a person. But it really was harmless, and the fact that freaking the deputy, I guess, basically saw the OG alien when they first came to Earth, and that whole thing is an ongoing plot. What's really, I tell you, what's really sad on the season is the lady that's been framed for her husband's murder.
Yeah. Man, I completely forgot that entire arc of like who actually was responsible in season one. So like, yeah, it was actually the alien's real body guy. He did it, and I'm like, wait, when was that
It's
revealed?
Vanderspiegel, and the way he
Yeah.
took out the agent, yo man,
Oh my god, on the train.
oh, I legitimately went, yo, whoa, whoa. My mom was like, what's wrong? Nothing. Oh, this is like nothing. Like, yo.
And then he's just sitting there, and Asta comes back, and he's like, the window came undone. This is a badly
I
made train."
needed some air. And it is hilarious. Like when he got on them shrooms or whatever, and he was in Times Square, it is hilarious to me. Like Attitude does a lot of heavy lifting, but when they show him as an actual alien, it only gets funnier.
And then no one cares. That was the best. Like everyone's just kind of looking at him, like, "All right, no, that makes sense. It's New York." And like I always go back to the thing where Henry Cavill was sitting in Times Square at one of those tables wearing a Superman shirt underneath a
Yeah.
Superman billboard, and no one knew it was him.
Uh,
Like honestly, like Men in Black was right. We would never know aliens were here because we just ignore everything.
it's just it's that speech from Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith on that bench. You don't get much realer than that. But now we got a whole alien baby, and that's a whole thing. The season really is turning up. I didn't suspect the direction they was going, but it's intriguing.
It's been a really strong season, so I'm happy about that. It's Tuesdays, right? Comes out every Tuesday.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, too.
Because I'm splitting my time now between that and rewatching Heroes.
Not yeah. Is it? I never really sat down and watched that, but I heard that first season was fire.
Eh,
So I heard.
little overrated. I watched it once and I really liked it. So I'm watching it again
That's
and I realized like, man, there's like so much filler.
that's the one with
Yeah,
Peyton Panettiere.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hayden Panettiere. She's the cheerleader. Um, there's a story arc with the chick from Final Destination. I forget her name, Ali Larder, and I don't like Ali Larder. It's like every time she's on screen, I just, all right, you have a split personality and your other personality is super evil and destroys people. Cool. All right, skip that. Oh, and your husband's an ex-con who can walk through walls and steal shit, and you're both indebted to the mobster. Cool. I don't need to know anything about you. If it was just about your kid, like if it was just his story, that's dope. He's like an 8-year-old who can like fuck with technology. That's cool. But the rest of you two, I think I think her husband was Deathlock on Agents of Shield.
Oh,
Think.
okay.
I get him and the guy. There's a him and then there's a guy on Angel that I get confused once in a while. Let's see, Heroes. I guess we'll just look it up. Can we get a roster? A roster page? The fuck? Can we get a cast page? There we go. My head's been in the sports realm too long. Let's see. Here we go. Characters. His name is DL, and every time I hear DL, I just think Hoogly. Let's see. Ali Larder. Let's see. DL. Nope. Let's see. Here we go. DL Hawkins, played by Leonard Roberts. And he was no okay. He was in Drumline. He was oh god, I remember that movie. He was the older upperclassman that was always giving Nick Cannon shit. He's supposed to be the antagonist, but we know Nick Cannon. He was absolutely the hero of that movie.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, because he's in the All American Homecoming show I watch now. Yeah, big. Yeah, I can see how you get those two. They're both bald, but yeah, that's
Yeah, they're both tall, kind of slender, but defined builds.
Yeah.
To be
Bald,
fair,
yeah.
like I still don't know the difference between Jack Nicholson and Jack Nicklaus. I know one of them is a golfer. I know one of them is an actor. Don't ask me to tell you which one's which. I won't know. Yeah, he's President Zeke Allen in All American. Who played Deathlock though? What was he in? Mike Peterson? Is that who that is? God, they are fucking twins, man. It's the shape of their heads. Like, that's what gets me. Like, it's the same head. J. August Richards, that's his name. Okay. He was an Angel. But, oh, God, that's why I get him confused. J. August Richardson was an Angel. Leonard Roberts was in Buffy.
Oh, that is hilarious.
That's why I get him confused.
And the degrees of separation are no more.
Pretty much, like damn. Now I know how you feel when you look at Stone Cold and Goldberg. All right. Anything else you want to talk about this week before we head off?
That's it.
So, apparently Robert wrote a piece for Variety. Apparently Roberts and Ali Larder had tension. I didn't know that. Led to his fire. Interesting. I'll have to read about that. So, realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. We're on Twitter at NERDCORP. We're also on our personals. Marcus, you can be found on yours over at Twitter. That's Paradox Kid, PARADOXKID.
That's me.
You can also find him on his other podcast by looking up on Twitter. It's The True Penny Show. TruePennyShow. True Penny Show on Twitter. Check it out. I'm also on Twitter at ChadNerdCorp, ChadNerdCorp, and on the Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut. Be sure to watch. What was my outro? Hang on, I can figure this out. Give me a second. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. Remember, as always, watch more wrestling. And Marcus, take us home.
Good night, me.